Welcome to Marketing Vibes. Today we're going to build a landing page using just AI tools. I'm going to use this opportunity to build a landing page for my new YouTube channel called Marketing Vibe. We'll start by creating a Claude Code project by simply creating a folder within Windows. I'm using the Windows PowerShell. You can also use whatever you prefer. Some people use VS Code. You've got Google Anti-Gravity, because you can, if you're on Mac, you can use the iTerm, which is also really good. What I'm using is PowerShell. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to run Claude. One of the first things you always want to make sure, I mean, you just set it up once and then you use it from there, is choose which model you're going to use it. I'm using Opus 4.8, but it really depends on what plan you're on and how frugal you want to be with your token. So I'm using Opus 4.8. Another thing is the effort. And this is how much you actually want the model to think before it does anything. So I'm going to leave it on high. Now, the first thing you want to do when you're building a landing page, apart from the content, is the design. Now, because this is a brand new channel, I haven't done anything. I don't have any branding guidelines or any color palette or anything. So I don't want to waste my Claude Code tokens doing that. We've got two really good tools that we can use. We've got more, but the main ones are Claude Design or Google Stitch. I'm going to go with Google Stitch this time. And I've prepared a prompt, which I'm going to paste here. I'm starting a YouTube channel. This channel is going to be about vibe coding and how marketers can use AI tools like Claude Code to 10x themselves and become much more productive and really speedline their marketing. I want to create a YouTube banner and a landing page for the channel. The channel is going to be called Marketing Vibes. Make it techie, slick, but it should also have a creative feel since it's directed towards marketers. The main call to actions should be subscribe on YouTube and subscribe to newsletter. There should also be a latest video section. Now, this last part also I added just to give it more of an understanding of what I want to achieve here and what I want the landing page to be. Now, you can choose here either to build an ad, which we're not doing right now. We're building just a web page. Here you can choose which models you want, and off we go. The first thing it's going to do is build me a color palette. Now, I'm going to export this color palette, a branding markdown file, which I'm going to ask Claude to constantly refer to whenever it creates new things, because these are going to be the colors that we're going to want to use moving forward. So it's going to, here we go. It's already created the color palette. I'm not sure how I feel about the neon colors, the pink and the cyan. Now I think it's creating the YouTube banner. And now with this, once I click on the color branding, I can export it to Figma, MCP, Netlify if you want to host your website on Netlify, or Lovable Bolt, or you can just copy it to clipboard and then paste it somewhere else. This is the logo that it's generated, which is also, it's not so bad. I actually think I like it. And here you can carry on chatting with it. You can, just like regular ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, you can tell it what you don't like, what you do like, and it'll fix it. So here it's creating the screen. It's actually creating two different models, and you can actually see how it's working. It's really cool the way it's built. I have a Twitter channel, so I don't know. Put that maybe into LinkedIn, and it's just making up content. You know, it's just making up the YouTube videos. This isn't so bad. This one doesn't have a video section for some reason. Maybe it's just not finished. So we've got two versions that are created. One without the video section for some reason. So I'm going to go with this one. Now, here's the landing page. It's called landing page. And, oh, this is the YouTube banner. It's not a YouTube banner. Okay. You know, AI made some mistakes. So what I want to do now, there are a few ways for me to export it. I can go here and I can export it and I can do all sorts of things like that. Or just take this link, and I've already connected my Claude Code to the Stitch MCP. So what I'm going to do is, using the Stitch, please visit the project and agree. So now it's loading the Stitch MCP tool. It's connecting to the project. And this way I don't need to export it and start, you know, playing around with loading it into files, pasting it, and hoping that it does a good job here. It directly connects to it. I can actually tell it to do things. I can ask it to create new designs, modify the designs on Stitch, and then retrieve them automatically. But I like actually seeing it work and create the design. So that's why I did the way I'm doing it now. Found it? Now to retrieve. So as you can see, it didn't download a design, it downloaded an actual HTML file, which is even better. There we go, we've got it. So now I can tell it, using this design, create a landing page, a website only, because a website should mobile and desktop versions. And when building a website using Claude Code, you've basically got two types of websites that you can build. One is a single HTML file, which is just the simplest. You just drag and drop the HTML file wherever you want. You can even put it on an Amazon S3 bucket and you'll be able to access it and run it. Or you can create the Next.js project, which needs to be compiled, and it needs to run on a server that has Node.js running on it. I'll show you how you can run that really easily later on. The benefit of having a Next.js project is that it enables you to use more sophisticated things, and you can keep your API keys and things like that in the backend, and they're not exposed on your front end. So if you have a project that has a backend, you can store, OpenAI keys, Claude Code keys. If you're using things like HubSpot or Appify, things like that, you don't expose your Appify keys, API keys when you're running it. So that would usually be the best option for those types of projects. Also, if you're building a more complicated project, you'll want to use something like that. For a simple landing page, I don't need to do that. HTML is perfectly fine, but just for, the purpose of this video, let's use Next.js. Create it using Next. One thing to mention though, I didn't import the branding, which I should have done, but I can always do it later. Since we've got all the branding already implemented in the landing page itself, it's okay to do it like this. But if I want to create additional assets, I want to create, a one pager or another banner, or I want to change things in here, not doing it outside instead, it's better to have the branding guidelines in here as well. Okay, it looks like it's finished. Now, what it's telling me now is if I want to run it, if I want to test out the website, I just need to run npm run build. That compiles it and creates an HTML. If I want to just run it and test it on localhost, which is what you see all over the social media, you run npm run dev, and that runs the website locally. So I'm going to actually do that. Because I'm on PowerShell, I can just check the plus here, and I can go into I can go into here and do npm run dev. So I've got a separate tab running here, and it says ready in 354 milliseconds. But as you can see, it's running in localhost 3001. And that is because I've already got something running on pre-download. So I'm going to run, I just opened it, and here we have it. A full website. It doesn't have the link here, which I need to add. Join newsletter brings you down here. And I don't have anywhere to drive these emails. So as you can see, it's also got a nice hover animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run loops. This is a really nice emailing platform which you can use. It has a very cool free plan with up to 1,000 emails, I think. So I'm just going to go into the forms. I'm not going to bother to go in and actually extract the important data. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy all this HTML, and then I'm going to come back into here, and I'm going to say, please implement the description form on loops while keeping the original derived and in it. So what it's going to do now, it's going to extract the important parts from the loop description form, and it's going to implement it into the design that we have here. One thing that I want to mention is that I'm also using something called front-end design, which is a Claude Code skill, where anytime I ask it to build a design or build a web page, it uses the designs I give it, but it also takes all the commands and instructions that the front-end design skill provides, which really helps to ensure that it's building it cleanly, and it really improves the design from what I find. So let's just, as you can see, it's making all the changes. It shows you exactly what it's changing, what it's removing. Red is a code that it's removing. Green is code that it's adding. Now it's telling you that it's wired to loops. Another thing that's important, as you can see, you've got the README ND that it keeps updating. Please update everything made done so far. Only turn paid load. So now what's happened is it's actually implemented it. I'm not sure if it's going to automatically refresh. So what I'm doing now is, there we go, we've got this. Repeat that. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to check. gmail.com. Okay, so we've got all that ready. Now you can see that it's written my Claude.md file with all sorts of information about the project. This basically means that I can exit Claude now. When I exit, I've got two options. I can just do run Claude continue, and then carries on exactly where I left off. Or if I run Claude just without any extra parameters, that it'll read the Claude.md and it'll get the context, and I can just carry on there from scratch. This is really good if you want to flush out the context. Right now I'm at 12%, so I'm okay. I'm not worried about it. Now, next thing we want to do is host it. We want to host our website. So I like using Hostinger, which is really cool. I'll put a link down below. So basically, you can host a website for $3.99 a month. If you take a plan which is longer, and you get like 3 months free. It's really, and it's really good. They've got really good support. They've got AI bot that is actually helpful. So let's go into my Hostinger. I've got a VPS actually and a website. So let's go to the websites, and we'll do add new website. Now it's important here to choose Node.js web app in our case. I don't have a domain yet, but just so you know, when you subscribe to Hostinger, they give you one free domain, so you can choose a domain and you get it for free for the first year. I'll just use a temporary domain. And okay, the way we actually send the project to Hostinger is through GitHub. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my GitHub here set up, new. I'm going to select new. We'll call this marketing vibes. And you see, Roybal, that's my GitHub. And for now, I'm going to make it private, create the repository. And this is what it looks like when you don't have anything on GitHub. So what I'm going to do is tell the Claude Code now to push the project to Git. And I'm going to give it this, use web 8 both. So what this basically does is, I just told it where I wanted to push this project to. And by telling it to use web authentication, because I'm already logged into GitHub on my browser, it'll use my browser's authentication to authenticate in Claude Code using the GHCLI. That's the GitHub CLI. So see, and this is the first push, so it's going to take a little longer. Now it's finished. Now it shows that GitHub is installed. I've already authenticated as Roy-Go via WebAuth previously, so it's not going to do it again. It found that the repo exists. It's private and it's empty. And the good thing here is that you have git ignore, which basically means that if you have an env local file, which stores all your API keys, database keys, passwords, things like that, it doesn't copy it into your GitHub repo. So if anyone gains access to the repo or you make it public or something like that, it doesn't have all your passwords in it. And I'll show you what you need to do later if you want to import your env local into your live website. So here you can see that it's actually doing the commit, pushing to the empty repo. So the good thing here is now once I've set it up, Claude Code usually automatically pushes to GitHub every time I make a change. So I don't have to manually tell it to. Sometimes, occasionally, it doesn't automatically push, and then you just need to tell. Once you also have it set up on hosting, it automatically detects that a new version has been pushed to GitHub, and it pulls it automatically and it deploys it, redeploys it. Okay. So done project is pushed to GitHub. So let's go into GitHub now. I'm on the repo. This is what it looks like when it's empty. I'll refresh. And now all of a sudden we've got all these files, all the marketing lab stuff. Now I go into Hostinger and I tell it to continue with GitHub. And let's find marketing vibes, continue. It automatically detects it up on Next.js, on the main branch, node version 22, root directory, everything. Environmental variables. This is where I can add, I can import an env file, and then it automatically adds the environmental variables, which are the, your OpenAI key, your, if you're using a database like Superbase or something like that, then you can import it in here. And then it's not exposed on the front end. It lives in the Node.js on Hostinger, and no one else can see it. So I'm going to finish and let's deploy. So it's given me also a temporary domain. We saw it previously. We'll set it. Here it is, seashellfish 810064 at hostingersite.com. This is really good for, initial testing and sharing it if you want to share it with other people, but you're not quite ready to commit on a certain domain name. And whenever you want, you can just add the domain and it automatically switches to the domain name you choose. There we go, we're live. Let's click on it. And here we are, ready. And now any change I make on, let's go to the dashboard, deployments. Here we've got this. It deployed compute very well. And it has the log. Now, this is very, very important because this time it deployed okay. But as you progress and your project becomes more and more complicated, sometimes deployment will fail. So even if it managed to compile properly locally on your local, some things might have changed. Maybe you forgot to add some environment variable or something. And then what will happen is you go into here, and you'll see that the deployment failed. So all you need to do is you go here, you copy the message, the error message that you receive, and you paste it in here, and it'll debug it and fix it for you. So there we have it. Now, all I need to do is finalize once I have videos on my YouTube channel, and I have an actual YouTube channel, which I know because this is the first video. Then I can just start adding in YAM. And these, for now, are not, they're irrelevant, so I can remove them. So let's just as an example. So let's see. Yeah, we don't need it at all.
Please remove the top inevitable.
I don't have to say please, but I'm a polite South African, so I'm gonna do that. And usually, by the way, before I did Control C, I exited and I reran the npm run dev. You don't always have to do that. As you can see here, it automatically renoded. So usually when you make a change on Claude Code, it automatically refreshes the Next.js. It's called a hot refresh, but I don't know. Sometimes it's a habit. I refresh it by myself. Okay. I don't think I talked about the status line that I have here. This is a very, very important part of Claude Code. It's something that helps you keep track of your current session and your status with Claude Code in general. So basically, the landing page, this is the project I'm on, Opus 4.8. That's the model I'm using. Context, this is how much of the context the window I currently have free. So I'm using 14%. I'm on Opus 4.8, 1 million tokens. So that's quite a bit. That's why the context is so low. If I was on 4.7 or 4.6 or Sonnet, those have a 200,000 token limit. So it'd be 5 times higher. And then you need to monitor it much more and compress it and things like that. This is how much I've used of my 5-hour window and when it's going to reset. This is very important for managing your usage. And this is my 7-day limit. I've been quite busy past couple of days. So I'm at 57% already, and I've got 4 days until the reset. Another thing, auto mode on. This you can shift to cycle between them. So this does it prompts you to accept all sorts of. It accepts most edits, but it prompts you for all sorts of things that it's not sure about. Plan mode basically does nothing. It just plans everything, and then you need to manually approve and tell it to do anything. And auto mode just rules, and Claude Code decides if something's safe to do, then it just does it. If it thinks that maybe it's unsafe, then it'll prompt and ask you. This is only available on the higher models, Opus 4.8. Sonnet won't even give you this auto mode, so you take them into account. So I asked it to remove the nav bar. Let's see. So this is the other website. Let's see if it's already pushed. Not yet. On localhost, gone. But I didn't want it to remove the logo, and it removed the logo. So I'm going to ask it to bring that back. So maybe I wasn't clear enough. I told it to remove the nav bar. I actually meant just top menu. Then grain back the logo on that pop and the search bar. Do I want the search bar? Yeah, the search bar and the subscribe button. Okay, subscribe button. Okay, so while it does that, going to the deployment, for some reason it didn't deploy. Why is that? That's because it didn't push it to Git. Okay, I'll have to ask it to always push to Git. But what it did do is it updated the Claude.md, which is important. The Claude.md to always push to Git. Finishing a revision on the landing page. Very good. Yeah, so this is the npm run. This shows that it's rerunning the website. So let's check that. Go, it's already back. User back. Awesome. See that? Always push to Git after finishing a revision on the landing page. Once it changes complete and passes, stage it, commit. Okay, perfect. And now it's pushing. Here. And there we go. It automatically pulled it, and it's building the website Next.js. See, it's creating optimized production goal. Now we just have to wait for it. There we have it. New version, live, and bigger. So that's our first video of Marketing Vibes. I'm going to touch this website up a bit and if you have any questions, feel free to comment. If you liked it, then feel free to subscribe. I'm going to add some more comments down in the description and also some links to the websites that you can sign up to create your first landing page. And I'll see you in the next video.